A Little Star by J.A. Black. Want to know a secret? As you look out every night, within every star you see, there shines a small little light. It may not be very strong, it isn't always bright, but within each loving heart resides a star's secret light. Now, that is not so stunning. Perhaps you already knew. However, did you know to show that light each star must believe it's true? And the more one star believes, the brighter that he or she may shine. There once was a star, a tiny star, so little and so dim, she was barely visible at all. Looking at everyone around her, she would sometimes feel so dumb. She didn't shine as bright as they, this lost and lonely one. Sometimes when she would twinkle, she would fall upon her face. The others, they would see this and laugh at her display. "Quiet, little star," they harshly laughed and joked. "Be still and stay away. You don't know what you are doing. You will never shine right." And then she'd run and hide till day, for that is when stars sleep. She'd wrap herself in moon dust and turn away from the sun and cry her little self to sleep. "Oh, why am I so very dull and useless?" she would think, as she drifted off to sleep. "Tomorrow I will remain quiet. I'll never make a peep. All I do is take up space. Oh, why am I so small and dull?" That next night, she held to her word and stayed silent through the night. The other stars all laughed again and said, "That is right. Your place is not with us. We shine so very bright. Leave the lighting of the whole wide world to us. We shine so very brightly and are so much more important than you." And so, little star winked out to never shine again. Now, if this were the end of our story, that would be very sad indeed. Stars, you know, so often wink out and go cold, and float in an endless sea of worries and blank faces. But for this little star, it was not to be. Maybe she was different. Maybe she was lucky. This I do not know. But I do know one thing. All the stars look down on the world and consider each and every person, even the quiet, dark ones, like little star. The stars try and make sense of this tiny world full of people. And sometimes, if they ask quietly and listen very carefully, they hear a special something, and that something will help them in ways that even the stars themselves don't understand. Now stars, they love Christmas Eve, for it is the one night when most people remember that stars do more than just shine. They can also point. When little star looked down, she did not feel very happy. So instead of looking at all the lights and the glitter, she instead searched the gloomy streets, and what do you think she saw? She saw a little boy. Now this boy, his name was Drew. He wasn't very happy. His grandmother was sick, and he could only see her through a glass window at the place where she was cared for. All the world knew that if they were not careful, they may get someone they love sick, and that might mean that they would die. So Drew stood outside his grandmother's home, looking to see her through the window. Now, the light inside the house was bright, but that night, the light that was outside the window had died, so that Drew's grandmother could not see him. And he was sad that he could not wave to his grandmother on Christmas Eve. "Oh," little star gasped. Oh, if only I could shine enough, and in some small way help this little boy. Oh, please, if I could just shine, just a little. And then she began to cry. And as she cried, she heard a voice. Little star, why are you crying? She was startled. So startled that she stopped crying. The voice was so small, little star wasn't even sure she heard anything. She looked around, but saw no one. I must be imagining things, she thought sadly. When little star looked down again, she couldn't help but watch Drew. She felt how much he must want to see his grandmother. Her heart ached to see Drew's grandmother staring blankly out the window. It made her so sad that she began to cry again. Why are you crying? The voice asked again. This time little star was sure that she had heard it. It was such a sweet voice, and it filled her with such warmth that little star was not afraid to answer. She wiped her eyes and said quietly, I want to help that little boy who is lost in the dark. Oh, if only I could shine. The voice, he didn't laugh, and he didn't chide. Instead he said, My little child, of course you can shine, far brighter than you know. I'm sure if you try just a little, you know that it is so. And something happened at that moment, for little star believed. Not a lot, but just enough to shine out constantly, and when she saw her little light, she clapped her hands and smiled. She was shining, and the moment she looked down upon Drew, her light grew and grew. Drew's grandmother looked out the window as her reflection faded, and she saw her grandson. Oh, how happy she was. And Drew, he smiled and waved and mouthed, I love you. And little star, every night she looks down on the world so dark below and searches for those who might need a little extra light. And then, of course, she shines, and as she shines, she feels within the voice she heard that Christmas Eve night. Shine on, little star, so bright. And how do I know this? Well, you might know it too, for within you there is a light, so small and not always bright. When you look around, when the world is dark, you may see someone who needs it too. And when you share it, even if that person doesn't believe, they might remember that we are not so very different from each other. And just like little star, as you help them, if you stop and listen, just for a moment, you may hear him too. Shine on, little star. Bring peace and love this night.